G'day ladies and gents, hope you're all well. At RMR Diesel here, I'm Ruben. Got Lamb Chops Ashley here.
There you go.
And yeah, we're just trying to make a few more videos in between big videos, like the Utzilla build and the Hilux tuning and stuff like that. So yeah, give you a look around the workshop today. I've got a Utzilla build-a-sode in the edit stage at the moment. Also a Hilux build-a-sode coming up when we tune it and do trans tune once we get time. We've got a Phoenix radiator to put in Utzilla as well. That's going in the new video, so that'll be good to see. Nice upgrade for the AdRad one that's failed, the new AdRad one. We've got Lucas's Tidy Series 4 in here. It's a DI, long time client, and yeah, he's an awesome dude. Super clean car. Was granddad spec when it started coming in here. It's mean as now. Trying to convince him to go all out in it. It's got head studs in it. It's ready to go all out, but he just hasn't committed yet. So it's going to happen. We're going to make a plan for him. This rig's seriously clean, but his engine bay hasn't had a wash since he was in here last, I don't reckon. Pretty dirty. It's unusual. We've got a 200 in getting injectors as well.
Nice and tight and tricky.
Yes, they're very tight to work on these. With our harnesses running through the engine bay and fuel lines and coolant lines everywhere, hard and soft. They're a real pain to work on actually. So you've got to pull the rocker covers off and change the injectors out that are inside there. This is the early model where the injectors aren't external, driver side's coming apart. Yeah, a bit of a midlife on it, injectors. Could probably do with turbos as well. Especially, well, he's got a good airbox at least, so might not be too dusted and wrecked, those turbos. And they do make 30 pound a boost when tuned, so should be fine for standard. And yeah, it's a 2007 Ash says, so it for sure needs a midlife with over 350,000 kilometers on it. That's very clean for an 07. People rack so many Ks up with the 200s. Don't know why, but yeah, they've always got 300, 400,000 Ks, 500 is all tuned with the airbox and exhaust upgrade. I didn't film too much YouTube format of that, but there are some Instagram posts about it. So if you head to RMR Diesel, you'll be able to find all the info there. This is the power we made, 280 horsepower, 792 on that run. We were pushing 800 on other runs, 800 Newton meters, and it's up from 174 horsepower and 550 Newton meters, so pretty much a 300 Newton meter gain and plus 100 horsepower gain. Nice and safe with that one, and with the trans tune as well. Absolutely epic. Whole new car to drive. The guy's going to be totally in love with this car if he wasn't already. We love our Toyotas. We've got this 1HD FTE 100 series getting a service and turbo replacement. The turbo's on there now, so that will be just about buttoned up. Thomas is about to fill it with oil and then give this engine bay a nice detail because it's pretty feral. It's never been to us before, this one, so it definitely needs a birthday. The TD getting tuned. We just put a pump on, client supplied pump, and it's having all kinds of issues, so that's good fun. Yeah, the owner's a young fella and he definitely gives things a crack. This is the second motor this car's had in it since he's had it. Can't explain what he did to the first one, but anyway, he's plumbed up this new turbo and he's running coolant lines to it, which you don't actually have to do on the diesels. It's fine to just run them with the oil feed only. A lot of the performance turbos you buy don't even have coolant capabilities. It does make them last a little bit longer though, so yeah, it's not the end of the world running it. It just saves a lot of time not running it. Love a bit of TD diagnosing on the dyno. So far we've run it off a jerry can with a lift pump to eliminate the fuel system being an issue. Still does the cutting out mid-run. It's got some dodgy wiring to the starter, or not starter, stop solenoid. So we've bypassed that, but that didn't work either. So now we're trying a different stop solenoid in the pump. Looks like it's a pretty fresh pump. Fresher than the one that was on there, so that's a little bit annoying that it's not playing the game. So we'd like to have it tuned up and roll in some coal, hey Thomas?
Yeah. Good
to get it up and running.
Callum, he wants a moon tune, he told me. He said, it already overheats, send it as hard as you like. I got all the money in the world to buy a new motor. Nah, not really. He said that he's very cautious about it and doesn't want us to send it too hard. So we're going to dial it in perfect for him. Make some wicked numbers and super safely. He could do with some more oil in his clutch for that fan. So I'll send him a part number to get some more oil for that, because he is a mechanic, so he'll be able to sort that. And he's got the Raspy 16G on there with the G-Turbo low mount manifold, and he's got a front mount. It's pretty sick. He's going all out with it. So it was the stop solenoid. Thomas whacked another one in there and it's all sorted now. So we can run that up, get some nice numbers out of it and flick it out the door right there. I think she's fixed. Goldie's still chilling here. Super clean TI. It's for sale, you should buy it. If it's not sold by the time this video's out anyway. Yeah, Utzilla's sitting here, still looking pretty sad. It's making good progress. You'll have to stay tuned to see what's going on there, I guess. It's making good progress, that's for sure. It's going to be real good soon. And we've got this N80. Just finished all the fab work on it. Airbox, intercooler, so that's been about 90 welded onto that cooler to make that all route nicely. And yeah, some nice pipe work to the MRX plenum. So that's making good progress as well. Alright, a few more problems with this TD. We're running it up on the dyno, it's dropping boost mid-run now, but it's making enough, or putting enough fuel into the engine. So it's doing a third of the run and then just dropping boost, and the AFRs are going real low, 12 to 1, and obviously making no power. So we're trying to figure out what's going on there. The wastegate needed adjusting. We were looking at these intercooler hoses. Sometimes they suck at higher RPMs if there's like a bit of restriction and whatnot. And they're really soft, they suck close and then make zero boost and chokes the engine. And we looked at all that and it was fine, and it was quite tricky to find actually. And Thomas was running it up and I was out here listening and I could hear this sucking noise. So I followed the sucking noise. It was like something was sucking over something and staying there. And he had this dumb friggin' filter on his snorkel there. And because of the grate as well, that grate, it was just sucking onto that. And not allowing any air to get to the turbo to make any boost. So that'll be going in the bin. Yeah. Now it's making some good power, just putting a boost controller on it so we can get some boost into it. So make those AFRs nice and clean to keep it cool, make some good power. It's a bit like that sometimes. You get a car on the dyno, the first friggin' few hours is troubleshooting what the person who put it together has done to it and then making it better. Bit annoying, but here's the runs here. So these were going up, it's making good torque and power, and then it was just dropping boost off first and then fuel off and making no torque, making no power. We just did a run there, so now it's making good power now. Well, it's going to make better. It's making 150, it was making 80 when it came in. So yes, we just need to squeeze some boost in because it's only 16 psi. Get that up to a reasonable level for that turbo and then start getting the fueling perfect for that amount of boost. Get some nice numbers down to these big treads here. Lucky we like you, Callum. He's actually one of my brother's ex-students from high school, so he's a good lad. Used to go mountain biking with him. Alright, that's better. Boost is set to 24 now, which is top end of the efficiency window for the Raspy 16G that he's got on there. And making some good numbers, but we're about to put a bit more fuel in because it's nice and lean there actually. 22, pretty much 23 to 1. Super clean. We do like them clean because it keeps them cooler, but we're definitely going to put a bit of fuel in it, and he does tow with it, so keeping that in mind as well. So just then we were checking what the AFR's dropped to when it's responding when the turbo is winding up. So I was just revving it in gear and seeing what it was dropping to. So that's emulating what it's like on the road when you boot it and how much smoke comes out the back. So we're pretty much on the limit there of where that can be. So we will take a little bit of preload out of the compensator to make that a bit better, get a bit more torque out of it. But we're also going to adjust the fueling at the top end, because you can see we can't go any further at the bottom because the AFRs are already dropping when you boot it, and it would be too dirty. But we can go some in the top end where it's super clean and get some nicer numbers out of the back end of it. So we'll take a shim out of the compensator and only tweak the preload a tiny bit. I'd like to make a video showing you how to tune one of these properly, because we know things that people don't know and you can't find on the internet, on how to get power out of these and how to tune them for maximum power. But I just don't know if I want to share that information, because yeah, I'll share some of it. We got the boost comp out, got an eccentric shaft, everyone's seen one of these, and the pin runs on there. You can see where the pin's been running, so we're not going to adjust any of that. We're going to leave that the same orientation. That's fine where it is now. And I was saying you can adjust the preload, so this spring is what the boost pushes against to make more fuel go in. And see that thing with the stars on it, or see that star with the notches? When you adjust that down, it takes the preload off this, so it allows the boost to press more fuel in easier. So we don't need to tweak that, but we are going to pull a bit of shim out. So this is a shim, and it stops the plunger going all the way down and going full fuel on the pin here. So we measure that, and then we find the right size shim that we want and pop that in to change the top end fueling. We've already adjusted the fuel screw a bit to pep it up, so that's the last little step to dial it in. It's maxed out on the fuel screw. Well, not maxed out, it hasn't got rev hang, it's got more in it, but for this turbo that's where it's going to be at. So. Alright, good progress. We are making quite a bit more power now with that smaller shim. We want a bit more though, because this is the operating window here. Change gears no higher than 3100 rarely if you're driving normally. And it's still super clean there with the boost that he's got there, 22, 23 PSI, which is nice efficiency window for that turbo. So we're going to squeeze a little bit more power out here, and yeah, a little bit more out there as well. So the AFRs will drop the back end here, which is fine because you're not really operating in that window. Well, some people are, but this guy won't be. He's going to be towing and off-roading, and when he wants to make lots of power on the beach to get out of something, he'll be able to just boot it and have a nice responsive car that makes plenty of power, and then go back to not wide open throttle and keep his car nice and cool. So it's going to be perfect. But yeah, we ended up winding the star wheel up a little bit actually because it was getting a bit dirty down here. So that has cleaned that up a touch. Putting a bit more preload on the compensator, and we're just going to pull some more shim out to make it sweet. We'll go a shim with 0.5 mil less on it for the comp. Let's make that pin drop a little bit further for the full fuel, and She'll be pretty lovely then. And here's another few adjustments I'm going to make, but I won't be filming that or showing you what that is. And then we'll show you the final numbers, and happy days. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to film that nicely and I'll show you some more secrets, but probably be like paid content, to be honest. Let me know if that's something you'd like to see, how to tune your TD42 properly and completely professionally, because we can do that. Another thing, some pumps, this is the boost comp spring that the boost pressure acts upon, so it presses that down for more fuel. So that's what I was saying about the star wheel. But sometimes there is no star wheel in the pump, so the only way to make that more responsive or less preload is to actually linish the spring. So see how the spring is that thickness? What you do is you sand the outside of the spring, measure it and sand it so that it's smaller cross section and therefore less material to press and softer. It doesn't take much to get it there. So be careful if you're ever doing that, if you're linishing your spring, because you can't go back. You can't just wind the star wheel back and weld some more spring on there. So it's got to be very precise or you're getting a new spring. There's the final numbers of Callum's TD. A few extra ponies there from those adjustments. And we've got the Hilux on the dyno next, but that will be for another time. And anyway, this is the numbers. Up from 88 horsepower with the boost comp pump when we first put it on, with the settings that were in it, and that had been running on another car, so big gains there. And yeah, Callum's already been away on the weekend using it and has been sending videos of him sending it all over the place. GQ show car coming along nicely. Alrighty, take care and brush your hair. See you on the next one.